morning, all of you. I'm very pleased to see so many people here, and some old faces, some new faces. And I'm really glad that we are able to have the symposium this year in Serbia. I started to walk in Serbia in 2009. Since then, it was my dream to have some kind of gathering in Serbia, and finally it's here. So I started to walk in 2009 from the Netherlands to Istanbul, and that was the beginning of the Sultans Trail as an organization, but also as a trail of hiking and cycling. But when you start, you don't know if you have a good idea, because you have the confirmation from others about your idea, if it's good, if it's not good, if it's the correct idea, or the naming is correct. And I walked all the way from Zandvoort in the Netherlands at the North Sea. Eventually I came to Smederevo. Just before Smederevo, I was invited by this gentleman, fisherman at Smederevo, and we were having dinner and drinking some and having a lot of fun at this evening. And I told them, I walked to Istanbul on the Sultans Trail. And they said, this is fine, because it walks next to us. This is the road there, the old Çarşı to Istanbul. I said, then I had my confirmation that it was a good project. And maybe because without these fishermen, we would not have Sultans Trail. And in 2010, we started our foundation. And I walked in 2007 and 2008 to Santiago de Compostela. And maybe some of you do know, there are a lot of routes going to Santiago, from all over, maybe from Serbia even. And then we had an opportunistic idea to also have many routes going to Istanbul, from Romania and whatever. And eventually, you see that your first dreams are too much for a small foundation. So we dropped a part in Romania, other parts of Bulgaria, and most parts of in Hungary as well, because then for a small foundation it's too big of a project. Then we concentrated on the main route, and which is more or less the Via Militaris, going from more or less from Belgrade to Istanbul. It's the old Çarşı Çarigradski Put, and also the connection from Belgrade to Vienna because of the first and the second siege of Vienna by the Ottomans. Once you have the idea and the route on a map, which is not enough, then you need to have people walking or cycling on it. And our initial idea was, within 6 months we are ready, because most of the things in our life, it goes fast and faster, and 6 months was long for us to do that. And eventually, within 6 months, we only had a foundation and not the route. And then it started with groups. We have many groups from the Netherlands, from Belgium, walking parts of the route, all of the route, to make sure that the routes are correct, and they are correct in the way that you can walk, but is all correct in sense of the history, and you need a lot of time for every section. So after 15 years, we have a line, you can walk, and you can cycle. We are happy with it, but we are not ready yet. Maybe we need 15 more years, I don't know. Yeah. So to have a good route, you need individual hikers. You have groups who control and hike and cycle the trail, but you also need the travel agents. In the Netherlands, we found active travel agent. Winnie is here from Active. She is doing the outgoing part of the trail in the Netherlands. And in Serbia, we have Magellan in Novi Sad, which is working closely with those outgoing agents. And in Niš, we work also with a nature travel agency, which is doing extreme good work for us. And in Bulgaria, we are working with Michaela. I don't know her company name. I only... yeah. Okay. And we realized that a route is fantastic for the hikers and the cyclists, but actually it is a big exposition for the local communities, because normally small villages, they have not the means to promote themselves in foreign countries, in big events, but as part of a route like Bach, they can promote themselves in the world as a touristic destination. Yeah. So we see many small villages which are actually very beautiful to visit, but not to have sufficient funds to present themselves in foreign countries. And a route like ours is such a good venue to present themselves to the broader public. So then you see a lot of happy tourists, slow tourism, and the nice thing about slow tourism is people tend to write more about the country and the places than people who go only on a ski trip or to go to the beach, because then you see only beach plates. But if they go to on a hiking trip or a cycling trip, you see maybe every day at least 20-25 pictures with some stories on it, and it is a good promotional tool for the young tourists you want to attract to the country. So that's it. So I wanted to keep short. Maybe you have some questions in a few minutes that we still have.
You have 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Oh, wow. Good. So if there are questions, then I can answer. And otherwise...
You're talking about it's not ready yet. What's not ready, exactly?
Actually, everything is ready,
Okay.
but when you go and refine the route, then you find always imperfections in it. So it can always be better. So when we market to the public that is ready, but internally and for the work-wise, we realize there's a lot of work to do, and some part is not ready yet because of the trail, because it needs refining, and some parts we are continuous working with a lot of things on maps, because we see a lot of maps are incorrect in especially in Greece and Turkey, and lesser extent to Serbia and Bulgaria. So you need a lot of work to be done by a foundation like ours.
Updating things.
Mostly we update with a group of people. OpenStreetMaps is open available for everybody, and it's easily accessible also for people not on the trail.
Route maintenance is ongoing.
Yeah, and also the route maintenance is ongoing. Then you need a lot of stickers and a lot of painting and things like that.
Mr. Everts has a question.
Yeah, maybe, Sedat, how is it with the markings of the route? I spent a lot of time in Belgrade, and I do see references to Donau Trail and German financed other track, but I haven't seen a Sultans Trail marking. So
Yeah.
there is some confusion there that should be lifted, I think, at one point.
Yeah, I think we need more cooperation with the local authorities in the cities, because in the cities you cannot put your marking without permission. So in a lot of cities we don't have the cooperation yet. So we try to connect the foundation with the local authorities to get the marking. And it's not so easy for a foundation located in the Netherlands to have actively contact in all the countries that we are traveling to.
More questions, please. Yeah, you have the floor.
Just one question that was triggered by the name of the foundation and the touristic goal. It's, if it is Sultans Trail, shouldn't it be outward? That is, starting from Turkey or Bulgaria towards Vienna. But it looks like inward that is the retreat of the Sultan.
That's true. In Europe, you have a different end destination for pilgrimages. And pilgrimages is, for the Northern Europeans, not always related to religious part, but sometimes they are. So you have a very appealing destination for hikers and cyclists in Santiago de Compostela, which most of our foundation members also did. And you have a second destination in Rome. So a lot of people walk or cycle to the Rome. And then third destination in Europe is, in our perspective, Istanbul. So you can call it Istanbul, Constantinople, Carigrad, or whatever you like. But this is a very appealing destination in Europe. So that's also the reason that we go from Vienna to Istanbul, and not from a historic perspective, but more of a, from the marketing perspective, like I said.